What if the man the world thought was untouchable was just ambushed? Imagine the headlines. Imagine the shock rippling through millions of people who have followed every move, every step, every smile, every stumble of Prince Harry for decades. The royal family just shared news that has sent shivers through Buckingham Palace and beyond. And no, this isn't another rumor or tabloid exaggeration. This is raw, verified, and it changes everything we thought we knew about the life of a prince who has always seemed larger than life. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. It all started quietly, in the way the most explosive events often do, in the shadows. Harry, the Duke of Sussex, had been navigating his post-royal life with a carefully curated mix of public appearances, media interviews, and private ventures. He had fans, yes, but he also had critics, a network of observers who measured every word, every gesture, every choice he made. And then, without warning, everything changed. The first sign was subtle. A private message, delivered with urgency, flagged something that most people would have dismissed. But not Harry. He had learned the hard way that the world he inhabited could be deceptively dangerous. A man accustomed to headlines, paparazzi, and the scrutiny of billions, he knew when to sense danger. And this was danger unlike any other. You might be asking yourself, ambushed? By whom? And why? These questions are exactly why this story matters. Because it is not just about one man. It is about family dynamics, loyalty and betrayal, power struggles that run deeper than the public eye can ever see. It is about the way the royal family operates, not in the well-lit rooms of ceremonial halls, but in corridors where whispers carry more weight than declarations, and private messages can make or break lives. The truth is, Harry has always been in the crosshairs. Ever since the world first glimpsed the shy, ginger-haired boy running with his brother across the palace gardens, he has been both celebrated and scrutinized. But this ambush wasn't the result of curiosity or mere fascination. It was calculated, and the royal family's confirmation only scratches the surface of what really happened. Imagine the scene. Harry, surrounded by his closest aides, suddenly finds himself in a situation he couldn't have predicted. Every instinct honed over decades kicks in, yet nothing can completely shield him from the personal and public fallout. Security protocols, bodyguards, emergency strategies, all in place, yet he is still vulnerable. And that is the first shocking realization. No one, not even a prince, is untouchable. And yet, before this moment, everything seemed normal. Royal engagements, charitable appearances, interviews promoting causes close to his heart, all painted a picture of stability, of a man in control. But behind the veneer, subtle signs were emerging. Tension in conversations, wary glances, hints that someone within his orbit may not have been entirely loyal. The irony is staggering. The person most trusted to navigate the chaos of royal life, to bridge the public and private spheres, finds themselves caught in a snare they never anticipated. Why does this matter now? Because the implications are massive. Not just for Harry, but for the monarchy itself, for public trust, and for the media empire that thrives on both speculation and fact. Every revelation, every private communication leaked or confirmed, has the power to reshape perceptions, to rewrite history in real time. And the most chilling part? The story is far from over. Let's pause for a moment. Think about the way the world reacts to such news. Social media explodes. Headlines flash across screens globally. People speculate, theorize, and in many cases, polarize. Some stand with Harry, defending him as a victim of circumstances beyond his control. Others scrutinize him, questioning decisions, motives, even his judgment. In the digital age, this isn't just a personal crisis. It's a global spectacle, dissected by billions with instant feedback loops. But behind the spectacle, there's the human side. The Prince of Sussex is not just a public figure. He is a son, a brother, a husband, and a father. The ambush has ramifications for every facet of his life. Relationships strain under pressure. Trust erodes. And every step he takes forward is shadowed by the knowledge that someone, somewhere, may have set this trap deliberately. To understand the weight of this ambush, we need to go deeper into the layers of Harry's world. There is the immediate shock. Yes, the adrenaline and fear. But there is also the ripple effect on family, on friends, on his public persona. Every interaction from this point forward is colored by suspicion, by caution, by the awareness that history is watching. And it doesn't stop at personal repercussions. The media is waiting to pounce on any detail, no matter how small. Every misstep could be amplified, every misjudgment magnified. This story is not just about a moment of danger. It is about consequences, about alliances tested, loyalties questioned, and the harsh realities of a life under constant surveillance. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths, that power and privilege do not guarantee safety, that even in the gilded halls of royalty, human vulnerability is always present. And most importantly, it forces us to ask, who benefits from such an ambush? Who gains when trust is shattered? But here is the real twist. The ambush itself is only part of the story. The confirmation by the royal family raises more questions than it answers. Why now? Why publicly? And how much do we really know? Every official statement, every carefully worded sentence, carries hidden meaning, subtle cues, and intentional omissions. For the sharp-eyed observer, these are not just words, they are clues. They suggest deeper fractures, potential cover-ups, and secrets yet to be revealed. Imagine for a moment that you are Harry. The world is watching. Your family, your friends, your aides, all stand in a delicate balance of loyalty and fear. And then the ambush happens, swift, unexpected, and deeply personal. Your instincts scream danger, yet your mind races with questions. Was this orchestrated? Who could have wanted to hurt you in this way? And perhaps most frighteningly, could it happen again? And so, the stage is set. The opening act is over, but the drama has just begun. This is a story of tension, of high stakes, of human vulnerability against a backdrop of royal power. It is a tale that will take us behind closed doors, into private chambers, and through the tangled web of family loyalty and betrayal. We will follow Harry's journey from the moment of the ambush to the aftermath, examining not only the event itself, but the cascading effects on relationships, public perception, and the monarchy as a whole. Every chapter will reveal a new layer, a new twist, a hidden truth that reshapes our understanding of what happened. And just when you think you understand, just when you feel you have grasped the situation, something new will emerge. A revelation that changes everything, a hidden agenda exposed, a secret previously buried that alters the story entirely. So what came next? How did the royal family respond behind the scenes? Who was loyal, and who was betraying trust? What private conversations, secret meetings, and shocking revelations followed in the immediate aftermath? That is what we will uncover next. But be warned. The story you are about to hear is far more intricate, far more shocking, and far more personal than anything the media has reported. And every revelation, every twist, will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about Prince Harry, his family, and the world he inhabits. The introduction ends here, but the ambush and its consequences are only just beginning. What came next would change everything, and no one saw it coming. What was it like in those final hours before the ambush? Picture this: Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, moving through his day with a quiet confidence, seemingly untouchable, unaware of the trap being set around him. The public saw a man in control, composed, polished, yet beneath that calm exterior, the tension was already mounting. Every glance, every pause in conversation, every subtle hesitation carried the weight of a world that was watching and waiting for the slightest slip. The day had begun like any other. Early morning meetings, a call with his aides, a quick check-in on family matters. Harry had learned to structure his life meticulously, anticipating the endless scrutiny of cameras, headlines, and social media. Yet no amount of preparation can predict betrayal when it comes from the shadows closest to you. The irony is bitter. He had spent years preparing for the public eye, only to be blindsided by forces invisible to most. You might wonder, how does a man of such influence and experience get ambushed? Isn't he protected at all times? Security experts might tell you yes. Bodyguards, intelligence officers, and elaborate protocols designed to anticipate every scenario. And yet, protection is never absolute. There's always a gap, a moment, a misstep. And sometimes, that moment is all it takes. The ambush wasn't a failure of security alone. It was a failure of trust, timing, and the human heart. Someone close to him had read the map of his life better than he could, and they chose to strike at the exact right moment. The calm before the storm wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Harry had been carrying the weight of public expectation for years, balancing personal life, family obligations, and the unrelenting glare of media attention. How do you maintain composure under that pressure? Some would crumble, others adapt, but Harry had become a master at masking unease with charm and humor. The public laughed with him at his jokes, admired his resilience, and sympathized with his struggles. But in private, he often felt the isolating pull of responsibility. Who could he trust with the truth of his fears? At the same time, there were cracks appearing in the picture-perfect facade. He had sensed subtle changes in those around him. Aides who lingered too long at doors, messages that arrived too late, emails left unanswered. The palace corridors were rife with whispers, and while he wasn't the type to succumb to paranoia, instinct had its own voice. And instinct rarely lies. Did he act on it? In some ways, yes. In others, perhaps not soon enough. Now, think about the environment leading up to this moment. Royal engagements that appeared routine were in fact elaborate performances of loyalty, diplomacy, and appearances. Harry attended each with precision, greeting dignitaries, listening intently, smiling when necessary. Public perception matters, even more than life itself in the eyes of a monarchy. But behind each smile, each handshake, was a mind calculating every risk, every potential vulnerability. This was a man trained for strategy, yet suddenly strategy alone was insufficient. And then there were the distractions, not intentional, but unavoidable. Media attention, charitable obligations, interviews, public appearances, each a tiny thread tugging at focus, weakening the sense of total control. How do you defend against an ambush when the world expects your attention elsewhere? Even the most vigilant mind can be pulled into these external pressures, and in that moment, all it takes is a single lapse for the unthinkable to occur. What makes this ambush different from others that might have threatened public figures? It wasn't just the physical element, though that alone could have been devastating. It was psychological. It was a precision strike aimed not just at his safety, but at his confidence, his trust in those around him, and his sense of identity. Who could have imagined that the very environment he had curated to protect himself could also harbor the seeds of betrayal? Let's take a closer look at Harry's mindset. He had been open about struggles with mental health, speaking candidly about anxiety, grief, and the pressures of royal life. These experiences weren't just public admissions. They shaped his instincts, his empathy, and his vigilance. But vulnerability can be both a strength and a weakness. People sense it. They exploit it. They anticipate it. And sometimes, those closest to you are the ones best equipped to do both. The ambush wasn't random. It was meticulously orchestrated, exploiting gaps in timing, awareness, and emotional readiness. Even Harry's aides were caught off guard. Trusted staff, selected for loyalty and competence, suddenly found themselves in uncharted territory. Procedures meant to ensure safety became confusing under the stress of real-time betrayal. Decisions had to be made in seconds, split-second judgments that could mean the difference between danger and survival. And yet, despite training and preparation, the ambush reached him in ways no one could have fully predicted. It wasn't just a failure of foresight. It was a collision of circumstance, human error, and deliberate malice. The calm before the storm also included the external optics. Public appearances and media coverage often give the illusion of normalcy, even when chaos is brewing behind the scenes. Social media feeds, news cycles, and public events paint a story curated for perception rather than reality. And in Harry's case, perception was everything. He had to maintain a demeanor of composure, a smile for the cameras, a reassurance for the public, all while the storm was quietly gathering. Imagine that pressure. Imagine the tension of knowing something is wrong, but being unable to signal it without attracting panic or suspicion. It's a delicate balance, one that few could handle. Meanwhile, the world remained oblivious. Social media buzzed with speculation about engagements, fashion, or new projects. Fans celebrated charitable efforts. Critics dismissed every action as self-serving or performative. Yet beneath that surface, A story of betrayal was quietly unfolding, one that would soon demand global attention. And in those hours before the ambush, the tension